I'm headed over to Walker County today to look at a property that will be hitting the market soon. It's on a highway in Flintstone. I think it's Chattanooga Valley Road, maybe Highway 193. I don't know. Anyway, I'll tell you more about that later. Right now, I just wanted to kind of give you a market in a minute update. So in the past week, I've had 2 clients that have told me, hey, I'm thinking about selling. Let's look at the numbers. I want to know, what I can get from my house. So I go meet with them, and in conversation with them, we talk about the fact that they have a mortgage on the property at 3%. One of them at 3%, one of them at 2.875%, fixed for 30 years. So they're asking me, hey, I'm going to have a windfall of somewhere around $150,000. I plan to take that money and go buy another property with it and do another investment. And so I looked at them and I'm like, I don't know if you know the math behind this, but your payment on the one that you've got now is so low that I don't think it makes sense to take that $150,000 and go put it somewhere else and then back that up with an interest rate of 7, maybe 7.5. I just did a investment loan at 7.625. So does that make sense to sell a good asset that there's a pretty good moat around it as far as can't build any more of them for the price that you have it at, and you sure can't get the debt at the price that you have it at? So after a little bit of a discussion, both of the sellers realized they didn't need to be sellers, they needed to be landlords. And so we talked about what it means to be a landlord and some things. That's an entirely different conversation. We'll save that for another day. But I don't think you guys realize just how many houses are not hitting the market because everybody has this 3% interest rate or 3.5% interest rate, and it really keeps them from being able to sell and go get something else because it's at 7. That math doesn't work out for very many people at all. So just imagine, I've heard the statistic that 42% of homes are free and clear in the nation. So that's not a local number, it's a nationwide stat. But if that's the case, and then I heard another stat that 67% of the homes that have mortgages have rates under 4. If that's the case, we're not going to see inventory come back for a while. Nobody in their right mind is going to sell that house with a 3% rate on it and go buy a house and have to get a mortgage at 7%. Now, maybe there's going to be enough equity that they can just go pay cash for the next one, and that's great. That's financial strategy. I'm certainly not trying to give financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just saying, when I do the math, to me, it looks like what I would do if I had that mortgage is I would keep the mortgage. So wanted to tell you guys about that. That's one thing we're seeing in the trend here locally, local market trend. And then the other thing I wanted to tell you about is we listed a house at $250 recently. Nice house, well done, move-in ready. Probably not the greatest spot in the world. Certainly not what I would call the most desirable street in Whitfield County. But nonetheless, we listed it at $250, and we got multiple offers, and we ended up at $256. So a lot of people, you will hear people say that, oh, the market's terrible right now. Like, I don't need to buy a house, and I don't need to sell a house because there's not any buyers in the market anymore. Rates are too high. That is not happening at the lower level. When I call the lower level, I mean like the median priced home in Whitfield County is $235 roughly. So anything around that median or lower, if it's move-in ready, man, there are a ton of people that want to buy that house. And then last thing I wanted to mention today was the commercial market seems to be very much a hot market right now. We just listed a property that, based on what we can tell, the appraised value is probably going to be somewhere around $600,000 based on the comparable sales that we saw. Well, we are seeing multiple offers on that to the point that we had to put a 10-day time limit on it and just collect all the offers and pick the best one. But I totally suspect that to go over list price and by a fair margin. So just know that there are segments of the market that are still really hot. So call your favorite local realtor if you've got any questions about some further market analysis. Talk to you soon.